baby, it's time to ride the funk train. And we're going to give 2 sips to the Lord.
Babies, it is time for Big and Funky Productions podcast announcing the WJHC AM premiere. Everybody lift up your glass of eggnog with whiskey in it. Take a sip and lay back to the cool sounds of Big and Funky.
Who's this nerd?
I don't know. We got nerds.
Look
it's freaking nerd.
It's me.
She's not wearing any pants. Just want everybody to know out in TV land that she's not wearing any pants.
Me neither, and I'm not lying. Are you lying?
Of course she's lying.
I never lie.
Well,
how do you sleep? Standing?
Hey,
hey-o.
Dad joke central.
Dad bods, dad jokes, and all that comes in between. Ew.
Ew, that's so gross.
Where does a pirate keep his buccaneers? Under his bucking hat. We're talking about dad jokes.
Okay, so why did the math book go to the therapist?
Why did the math book go to the therapist? I don't know.
Because he was full of problems.
No.
Goodbye.
No. Hey, yeah, see you, Tracy.
I thought Tracy wasn't going to be on the show tonight.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Hey, speaking of which, I want to talk. This I just woke up from a nap like literally 4 minutes ago, so I'm not going to be mumbly mouth. But Tracy said she's not having a good week, and December is weird, especially the older you get. It seems like December's always supposed to be about fun and holidays and Christmas and New Year's and people's birthdays and other holidays and family. And it just seems like December's, well, and statistically it is. December is one of the most depressing months for a lot of people. And not saying that Tracy's depressed. She's just going through a rough time. But anyway, reach out to people on the outskirts, the outliers of society. If you know a friend that's kind of a weird person, or somebody that's lost relatives and stuff, just be mindful. Don't think about yourself all month. Think about reaching out. Just sending a message or something. Always being available online. This is a rough month for a lot of people. And it's a great month for a lot of people. But those people are called children. Everybody else, this is a stressful month.
And, if you're feeling bad about yourself and you have body image issues and stuff like that, just we'll all take a look at your titties.
And if you're a gay midget cowboy,
Travis Graves.
Please send those pictures to Travis Graves at Travis Graves 666 at humpamidget.com.
At Travis Draven at Ezekiel.net.
Worst work name in Big and Funky Productions history, because I don't know what Hack used to go by. I don't know what
I think Hack's always been Hack, and Roxy I think she's always been Rock and Roll Roxy. And I see where they were going with Travis Draven, because Travis Graves and the Graves, you just have to change 2 letters and you get Draven, but just that's terrible fucking name. I mean, it's like 2 words that don't go together.
Travis. Well, Travis is, now we love Travis, and I wish he was on the show tonight because I miss his cuddly face. In fact, we didn't know what to eat for dinner. I'm wearing a robe with nothing on except, right now I don't have anything else on, but earlier I had Bermuda shorts on, and I was going to walk in bare chest to his Pigeon Forge axe house and run in and hug him and start trying to wrestle him to the ground.
Take your robe off.
Yeah, and that would accidentally fall off and my glasses would fall off. But I couldn't figure out how to get into his effing storefront. And I'm not even kidding. He works at the Pigeon Forge axe house, which is one of these trendy places where people throw axes.
It's also escape games. You have to solve clues to walk through the front door.
That's right. The escape game continues, and he's always talking. He's the general manager, and he's like, I don't know why business is so bad. Well, mother effer, the only door I could find said use the other door. Everything else looked like there was a dumpster and a small midget with the password you had to give them, and a troll bridge with goats underneath. I had no idea what was going on. And I said midget twice already on this episode. It's hate speech. I'm not going to be able to do well in this new PC universe. I don't mean anything by it.
Then you know what? Just embrace the dark side and just.
Well, I don't. If I don't want to hurt anybody, if somebody's a little person out there, speaking of little, the big ragu, the name I went by. I just woke up 8 minutes ago and found out the big ragu from TV's Happy Days has died today at the age of 69. And he's an important actor, so important. In fact, I don't know his real name, but he did play a guy. In fact, the Big Ragu wasn't even his real name on the show. That was a nickname of his fake name of the actor's real name. So, sorry, Big Ragu.
Ralph Mouth's real name wasn't Ralph Mouth. It was
no. What Fonz wasn't really the Fonz. What's the character's name? Carmine.
Oh.
Carmine, which is the greatest Italian name. And if I was going to have a bunch of children, I would name them things like Giovanni and Carmine. They would think, oh my God, these bunch of people fell off the boat. But anyway, Vic Nasty's in the thing. He's saying hello, Vic Nasty. Here he is again.
I should have gave my kids weird names. I just went straight up all American Mike and Jenny, but I should have gave them But I could have, I should have spelled them all wrong, like Myke.
Oh, what are the names of your? Well, do you want to say that, Amber? I forgot the names of your kids. They're just Cutie Pie 1, 2, and 3 to me.
They're actually they're family names.
Okay.
Sarah, Natalie, and Reese.
It's Dorothy, Ethel, and Bozell.
I did originally want to name all of my children after Greek gods and goddesses, but Sam vetoed that.
What a square! Now, if had it to do over again, would he be cool with it? Was he just a little?
Probably so.
Yeah. What were the names that you were going?
Reese would have been Diomedes for sure.
Okay, Diabetes. Now that's not.
Yeah,
cool.
You can't name a kid Diabetes. Man.
She's going to walk into a restaurant and they're going to be like, "We can't give you any ice cream."
She'd have to grow one of those mustaches that look like this. You know?
We said, hey, little stupid girl, we said what your name is, not what you have.
Persephone, Dimitri, and Artemis.
Artemis.
Dude, if you'd have named Artemis, Artemis Prime would have been, you go with that.
I like Reese. Let's keep Reese. What was the other one?
Sarah.
No, what was the other? I don't like Sarah. It's too common. What's the other one?
Natalie.
No. What are the words you were going to use? The goddesses.
Dimitri. Persephone.
Well, Dimitri's a man's name. That's a guy that is involved in like online. He's like a Russian gangster. You don't want to name one of your daughters that. Persephone. That's pretty good. She's got that chick.
Yeah, but how do you shorten Persephone? Like, what do you call her? Seth.
Purse.
Purse. Phony.
Hey, what up, phony? Hey, I got Purse, Dimitri, and Diabetes over here. The diabetes.
And she's dating Michael Jackson's kid, Blanket.
Blanket and pillows.
Prince Blanket.
And then there was
that's not his real name, was it? Is that?
It's his. Yeah, it's like real name's Prince Blanket.
I don't see now. I feel bad about making fun of Travis Draven, which is Travis's wrestling name for a little while until he met us. Or did he change it before he met us?
No, that was like the first thing as soon as he told me he's wrestling, I was like, no.
It was trying to be. There was a whole movement, Amber. I don't know if you knew this, but there was a whole movement of gothic names in wrestling. We have a friend named Draven Lee, but that fits for him because he's a weird guy. He's in good shape. But he always paints his face.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's got like veins where there shouldn't be veins on a human. He's got like elbow veins. He's probably on the gas. I don't know. He looks good. Oh, Mark Schaefer's here tonight. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Lenny.
What Mark Schaefer? Wasn't that like the band leader for the Tonight Show or something?
Very good, Dave. Very good.
I want one of those posters.
Which one?
The flyers is hanging right behind you. I'm poking at it.
We lost a lot of them.
You have no idea what it is.
Yeah, we lost a lot of those. I do have the Speaking of which, we've got, let me see if you can see this, how bad, the WJHC, that's the movie poster.
Nice.
And we do need one of those because the end of this month, Luke was alluding to this earlier, the 29th, midnight. So ladies and gentlemen, we're not a bunch of liars. Midnight, because we're cool like that. If I was a minister, that's when I would have my damn services. Midnight, the 29th, once a year at midnight. If I was a minister, it'd be a very poor church. You have to write a big check, 10% check of your yearly salary. But anyway, 29th, midnight, the Forge Cinema in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, the premiere of WJHC AM. And we're going to talk pretty candidly about that.
Like candidly?
Yes.
I'm excited. I have so many insights.
I think people think it means something. I think people think that's a dirty thing. I think candid just means you're honest. And I'm going to be honest. And we're going to talk. And I'm going to send everybody a message. We have like 83 people that helped with this movie, and not everybody's in the group anymore because we're pretty offensive in all of our little groups, and even our friends will go be like that offends me in the Lord, and they'll leave. And that has happened. The people in this movie, we are so offensive as human, obnoxious and toxic as people, and nauseous human beings. Our own friends have left our groups.
It's a general human condition that like you have a hard time realizing that other people don't think the same way you do.
Right. And we're making movies. This is what me and Luke and Amber and everybody else in the group too. We're trying to make people happy because there's a lot of anxiety and so even in our own group, we're making these crazy movies and stuff, and people are like, I'm offended. So anyway, so this movie is going to be offensive. It's not the intent. It's actually something pretty spiritual and important to me, but it is. It
is a movie about spiritual redemption.
Mm-hmm.
I teared up watching the end, and
is that your nude scene?
Yes, I was nude, and that's
so many things I can't unsee.
Upset my wife. A lot of people were upset.
Vinny's red ass is forever etched in our brain.
I will tell you this. I don't want to give everything away, but man, the scene leading up to that, it's funny. There are some really good funny. There are some, and I'm telling you, I sent a message to everybody because I'm the only one that's seen everything, and I'm the only one that's editing it, and I'm done. I haven't told anybody this. I'm done with day 5. Day 1 and day 2, and I'm halfway done with day 3, which means I've got about a day and a half before the skeleton is done. And what I've learned, and this is what I was going to be candid about, and this is my first, if some of our own group is going to watch this podcast, there's going to be some casualties. Anthony Bourdain said once upon a time in writing, you have to kill your darlings. And this thing is so long. Again, Luke, we did this again with the hike. We're like,
it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long enough, and then we make it 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's like we're going to have to include a 4-hour rape scene or something to put in here, some sort of like a 3-minute somebody walking down the street rain scene, and put good music to. No, there's tons of content, too much content. It's too funny. And so I think for the thing.
Act surprised.
That everything so far has worked well. There's a couple problems technically that we had. Got to talk to you about that off the air. I'm worried about our camera, but I think for the debut or the premiere on the 29th, I'll leave the entire movie together. So if somebody comes out, they can watch themselves. But what the final product will be, there'll be a couple of people that have worked hard.
Well, do you expect a lot of people to come out at the premiere? Like,
I think so. I got to message everybody. I mean, we just got the date concrete today. I mean, me and Amber were talking yesterday when I was in Knoxville. God bless my heart. We were trying to shore up. She's trying to get some media attention to it, and I think. John is going to let us put the poster at the Forge for a little bit of time, and hopefully we'll get some local press. We'll get a TV and a couple of newspapers and stuff
until they hear the name of the movie again. And their next feature is WJHC AM.
Boy, Ted Hall knew. Ted Hall, you can see when we were on TV last, and they were like, the next movie is called WJHC AM. And you just tell he was like, that stands for Jesus H. Christ. He goes, there is no radio station called WJHC in La Follette, Tennessee. I'm Ted Hall, Mr. East Tennessee. Dustin Bolt said he'll wear a nice dress. There was no altar boy scene. There's a lot of we that's one religious trope we don't go towards. There's a couple others that are
we tend to stay away from pedophilia in this movie.
Yeah,
but the next movie that's off. But this movie we stay away from it.
This was ironically and weirdly, this has been kind of strange watching all this. Tracy's normally here, and she's normally the one that gets upset, and I have to apologize to her after the podcast. She has been killing it as Nancy, and there was a real life Nancy. I didn't even change the name because the real life Nancy's dead. Travis is playing a real life guy. Almost everybody's playing semi-real that I knew.
That's dead.
That most of them are dead now. If they are not dead, their names are completely different than what they were.
Which really, thank God they're dead, because we don't want to get any lawsuits.
And we don't want to. I don't want to hurt any feelings. This was a perception. This was when I was very young. I as immature as I am now. I was very immature then. Like I've told this story before where Nancy, who Tracy plays, who's in this movie predominantly. In fact, she's the second billing because she's in this thing more than anybody else, except for my sorry ass. She, I didn't get along with her. And the way that Nancy looks at me in this movie is the way that Nancy looked at me in real life all the time. And Tracy killed it. And there was a point where she pissed me off one day at the Christian radio station there. I put a bunch of sugar in her coffee filter, and I got busted. Why did you put sugar in the coffee filter? And I almost said, because I want you to die. I knew she had diabetes, which is Amber's daughter. But I didn't say that. I was like, oh, I just like my coffee sweet. And she was like, I'm diabetic. You a-hole.
You a-hole.
That's one of the most famous lines of mine and Luke's Pantheon. And it might have came from her. That's so weird.
That was the moment that killed professional wrestling in East Tennessee. I'm diabetic, you a-hole.
Yeah.
So, can you say that? Insulin.
We were doing a Halloween episode for Great American Wrestling in Knoxville when we were running that terrible shit show. And nobody wanted to do promos and stuff, so it became the Luke and me show. We started doing comedy bits, and all the wrestlers hated it because nobody wanted to do promos and stuff or any storylines because they're all dumbasses. And and some did, and some went along with what me and Luke wanted, which was probably a bad idea. But there was one time where I was shooting in this office, right where I am here. Luke was dressed as Fred Rogers because it was Halloween. He was dressed
the Nature Boy, Fred Rogers,
and not to confuse Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And he comes in wearing a cardigan and holding some shoes, and he gives me a Snickers bar, and I take the Snickers bar and I go. I said, I'm diabetic. A Snickers bar. I'm diabetic, you a-hole. And I throw the candy bar. And that on its own is not very funny. But what was amusing was the fact that the head of Fox was like, you can't say a-hole. And I'm like, did he want me to say asshole? I mean, I could do that too. I mean,
apparently you can say asshole, but you can't say a-hole.
You can't say a-hole in 2016.
Well,
I was trying to be good. And that was the show that people were calling. How are we supposed to have serious wrestling? I'm 5'8", and I am supposed to be recognized through the Mid-South as a real wrestler. I'm 5'8". Let me get on top of hold on, I've lost signal. Let me get on my phone book here in my car. My head sticks over the steering wheel. How are we supposed to be taken seriously?
Yep, that was
these two assholes making this a comedy show.
The last TV tapings, we did 4 shows at once. So it was like 4 episodes in one taping, and Funk there couldn't make it to the last one. So I had to run the whole show, and that's when I knew it was done, because I'm standing there. We're booking. I got the second show booked up, and I've got Tim Smiley versus Christian Lotus. Now, Christian Lotus is about 5'10".
No, he's not.
Maybe, but
5'10". He's shorter than I am.
And Smiley's about 5'6", 5'7", and I've got 2 guys that are about maybe 5'8", standing there going, "You got these guys going against each other. Nobody wants to see 2 small guys wrestle." And I had those 2 booked in the main event. And that was basically when 2 guys that were 5'8" told me that nobody wanted to see small guys wrestle. I was like, yeah, this is done. This is over. We're not doing this anymore. God.
It was so fun. That's what we were dealing with. They didn't, and what we're meaning by that, Amber, and the spirit of Tracy, is that they didn't perceive themselves as being tiny.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that was a rough time. We had.
What was great is when I right after they said that, I bent down to talk to them. I leaned down to talk to them.
Lifting them up. Here, honey, let me talk to you for a second. Beautiful people. Pro wrestling. That's when it died for me, man. I'll tell you that much. I was like, these guys are.
We're gonna have a whole mess of fun on Christmas.
I'll break my leg. I'll break my leg.
Do not kill yourself before the premiere.
You'll have a wreath and a picture of me at the premiere.
We'll be walking in there, and everybody they'll be like, "Oh, those are the canes that you guys are using, the canes from the hike." And we'll just be no. Which is,
tell you what, I may go in there armed with something. I may just get DQ'd immediately.
Well, I was talking to this kid out of Chicago that wanted to talk. He just seemed like a mark, and but he knew that I was friends with like Vito and all them, and I guess he was trying to get in with them. But he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to wrestle you in like a classic David versus Goliath match." And I'm like, "Here it comes." This is a conversation I've had 100 times with people that say David versus Goliath match. I was like, "Oh yeah, all right. Tell me how that would go." Well, I'd come out and get the heat, and then you'd take over, and then I get a hope spot, and then you take over again, and then I beat you with my finishing move out of nowhere. I was like, you realize that the whole point of David versus Goliath is David needed a weapon to beat Goliath. That was the psychology of that match.
That cheating asshole, and he's he's a cornerstone of our religion. This is a religion of bad guy wrestlers.
Yep. No, of bad good guy wrestlers.
They're all underdogs.
Well, it's tough. What's very strange, I don't know why we're talking about this, but what's very strange is I go through periods of my life, and my formative. I don't. Well, I'm a young woman, man. Leave me alone. It's my changing. I watched the tape at health class, my changing body, and then it happened the next day, and then I started developing weird feelings towards my English teacher. But anyway, so I don't watch television. I hate TV, and so
it's your arm. I thought you like pulled a salmon in front of the camera or something. I don't know
what that was.
I caught this right before the show. I need to clean it. If you guys can talk for about 15 minutes, it just flew out of the river into my car on the way home from trying to wrestle Travis naked at his job. But anyway, I'm listening to Jim Cornette, which he was a manager in wrestling, and he's a very opinionated, old school voice, and he's getting me a little bit interested in wrestling again. I haven't watched it. But he's known for hating everything that's not old school and doesn't make sense. And I'm listening to him actually review WrestleMania and the matches that I thought were great at WrestleMania this year, he liked. And the matches that he thought were horrible, like, do you remember which
we accidentally watched WrestleMania? Don't think we meant to.
Well, we were invited to Vito Tomaselli's, and there was a party up there, and there's a bunch of people that Luke's friends and people that I know. And Vito is the guy that's the narrator.
Side note. Beside it being my daughter's birthday today, happy birthday, Jenny. It's also Sal Tomaselli's birthday, so happy birthday, Sal.
Happy birthday.
Boy, we're just rambling. But Sal Tomaselli is not a real brother of Vito, or Polly, but Sal is a great if Sal, I think Sal lives in California. If Sal lived here, he'd be one of my closest friends. Me and him had one of those dorm room up all night. He doesn't believe in God. I believe in God, but he's kind of in a spiritual weird. He's in a place trying to find himself. Of course, I shouldn't say this, but we had one of those talks that you have, like in the dorm room. So, anyways, and we connected. I haven't really talked to him since. But I feel like it was one of those things I said all I needed to say for a while. But anyway, we Sal Tomaselli and all those guys are class fucking great guys from the Chicago area. But so I was listening to Jim Cornette talk about these review WrestleMania, and but I've been listening to him for months. But it's interesting to see him say almost everything. And everybody hates this guy. Travis doesn't like this guy because he's a grump and he's too judgmental, and there's certain people that he just won't give a break to. But I feel the same way. But wrestling has lost what makes sense. Getting back to what Luke says is the David and Goliath match. It can be done, but I mean it's tough because you're going to insult everybody's intelligence. A guy who's 140 pounds shouldn't beat a guy who's 300 pounds. I mean,
without a weapon.
That's why there's weight classes, or there has to be some sort of gimmick to make it work. Like if Luke's a bad guy and he's a giant, he could encumber himself with a weapon, or distraction, or there could be something like that. Yeah.
Well, Paul White, the Big Show, probably could have been one of the biggest names in wrestling ever, but they booked him to lose a match clean to Rey Mysterio, who's 5'2", and ever since then, there's no recovery from that. How you supposed? And then a year after that, he lost a fake boxing match to Floyd Mayweather, who is also about 5'2". I mean, how do you come back from that?
That's the thing. That's the other thing in wrestling too. That's changed too. Everybody loses to everybody on television now. Now they're doing these submission, which that always used to be a rare thing. People tapping out to people, and that's UFC influenced. But normally, if you tapped out to somebody in pro wrestling, that meant you were getting buried, or you were leaving the company, or leaving the territory.
That's the most shameful thing you could do is tap out.
Rick Martel, as a baby, was AWA heavyweight champion, and he tapped out to Stan Hansen in the Boston Crab, and Stan Hansen had him blocked in the corner. So every time Rick Martel tried to get out, he was moving Stan Hansen's head into the turnbuckle, blocking the reversal, and he finally tapped out. And Rick Martel's career never recovered. He never was on top anywhere else ever again. So anyway, I don't know why we're talking about all that crazy stuff, but we're supposed to be talking about our movie, which has wrestling in it, and
it does
two fight scenes.
Oh well, yeah.
Right. There's two instead of in the hike. We had one fight scene. There's two fight scenes, and the people that fought in that did a great job. And that was that's where our pro wrestling background really helps with movies in front of the camera, is because that was probably one of the most fun things, is us looking at this room, this warehouse room, and looking at everything around the room, all these different things, and going, all right, let's choreograph a fight. And we choreographed a fight in this room, and it was cool. It was like, we got a saw. We've got a chain hanging from the roof. We've got all this stuff, like, how do we use what's around? But then, to totally book a match and then make it cinematic. That was probably the most fun thing. And then, Michael dropped Jesus. Well, something. This is why I know I love you, Luke. So I'm editing this movie, and so for people who don't know, I'm an asshole. Everybody kind of knows that, I guess. But Luke got an heirloom from his grandparents, which was a bust of Jesus. And if you're our age,
hold on, you might be able to.
Okay,
can you see it over there.
Pan to Jesus,
which that'd be like a 0 BC or a 30 AD direction on a morning television show in Jerusalem. Pan to Jesus. We have a local boy here that says we should treat each other better than we have been.
All right, Pan to Jesus. What's up, y'all?
Hey, man. So anyway, there was an heirloom. I don't think the people saw that, but there's an heirloom and it was one of these things that I saw this thing when I was a kid, and it's horrifying. It's like Jesus crying. He's got the crown of thorns with the nails coming out, and these are actual weapons.
Yeah.
These are things that could kill small children and plants and pets. It's a horrible thing. It's got a good weight to it. And so the only time I've really seen Luke ever upset is I told Luke that would be a great Iggy for the whole movie. I remember those things. There was probably one of those at the radio station that we made this movie about. And so in the entire movie, there's things like, Sister Christian is hitting on me, and while she's sitting there like getting in my lap, she turns the bust of Jesus around like people do in movies. Like if somebody's cheating on their wife, they turn her picture around or picture of Jesus or picture of their parents. And so, and I'm always through the movie, I'm looking at this thing like, God, that is a weird looking thing. And then at the end of the movie, it becomes a weapon. And Mike did a great job in this fight. Mike did a great job with this, but Mike dropped the fucking statue that and then Luke didn't enjoy it. So that was such an uncomfortable scene. Everything was great cinematically. This will be good, but I didn't even watch the reaction. I just stopped right when the thing broke. I stopped and backed it up a little bit so that even the people can't even hear that it broke. And then it was just like, I just don't want to fixate on that because that was such a fun movie to shoot. And then him dropping it, and he was like, I thought you said drop it. I said, I never once said drop it. That was the thing we should have thought of, because it wouldn't make sense for him to go, oh, my brain has been impaled by these Christ nails. Let me gently set it down on this workbench. We should have had like a pillow or somebody who was going to catch it or something underneath. But or we could have cut.
But I mean, I'm not mad at him at all for it. I was
chat, of all people, he's in the chat room.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at him at all. We glued it back together. It's got some chips in it,
but saved. It's fine.
Jesus saves, and Jesus was saved. It was, but and I got it. And Mike's here, Tracy's here. I don't know why these people are on
but they're not on. They're not on the show. They're just in the chat room.
Content, but I got to tell you, freaking amazing. These, Mike. Let's talk about Mike for a second.
Sexy motherfucker.
Well, good looking guy. And when we first started working with Mike, terrible actor, overacted, was nervous. You could tell. You watching this guy, his character, Mike Feebly, which is based on a real man, based on a real guy. Just to let you guys know, this is a Christian radio station, Southern Gospel radio station. There was a baritone named Mike Stanley. If he's still alive, you're terrible. But anyway, so the name is Mike Feebly. And he would call in with either his daughter or his wife or himself and constantly request a Southern gospel song sung in baritone, which baritones and bass singers need to be in the groups. They just, nobody wants to hear somebody going, hello, everybody coming down off the river, and we're going to have potluck dinner at the church on 5 o'clock. Nobody wants to hear that shit. You need to be in it. You need to be with a group. Sorry, the tenors are the ones that need to sing solo stuff, not you guys. So, but it was this horrible tape. And he had some song he'd always request. And God bless his heart, I knew it was him. And there's nothing really wrong with it. It's almost like somebody creating fake accounts to give yourself reviews, which I have done myself in my own business. So I probably shouldn't have lambasted this guy. But he called in so much that I started like pitch shifting. We had a nice little control thing where I'd pitch the things would be, and then I would interview people. What did you think about that song? And they would be like, well, he was trying really hard. So anyway, that's the character. And so this is like, what if all hell breaks loose and this guy wanted his revenge? And it's slowly the breaking or the mental breaking down of a Southern gospel singer who's being picked on by an asshole disc jockey. And Mike does it wonderful. I swear to God.
He's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I watched from behind the camera, just being able to watch him I was like, and what I think it is like when we first started working with him, he tried really hard, and he was really good, but he like I said, he overacted. But I think the more hair he lost, the better of an actor he became.
Well, that was impeding his acting progress. But he's bald as a fucking cue ball now, and so he's a great actor. He may be one of the strongest actors in our group because the scene where he's got the shotgun.
Man,
dude, I'm sitting there going, man, is this guy? That's the other thing too. We'll talk about is that what I really think when I say this, I'm the worst part of this movie. Everybody is so good in this movie. I'm Dante from fucking Clerks, who's the worst part of Clerks. That's what they do. So I'm not should have showed up to work today or whatever. So
Dante was Luke Skywalker, just a whiny bitch.
I'm a whiny bitch in this thing. I don't like myself in this movie. I'm not trying. This is a sympathetic thing, but everybody else is killing it. So I think, for these festivals and stuff, everybody needs to. I can't afford to do it. But the way these festivals work is a lot. Tracy, especially, Mike, possibly Sheena, definitely Travis should put themselves up. If they have a little extra scratch in some of these smaller festivals and stuff, they should put themselves up for best actor, best actress, or best supporting, and they'll have a good shot at winning this stuff. Candy's won a couple. I've won a couple. These smaller things, but they do cost money to enter, so I can't afford to enter everybody in every film fest, but I can help people get a couple wins because I swear to God, Tracy, most female leads are buxom, shapely, young, especially in independent movies and especially in horror, are these like just eye candy first. And then if they're a good actress, then great. And she's, making herself look a certain way. She's pregnant. She's smoking the entire movie and just a miserable cuss.
And you got me for eye candy, so it's not really a.
Well, you do look good on camera, man. I don't know what it is. When I see you in person, you look like a guy who smokes too much and you're about to have some sort of breakdown inside your body. But man, when you're on the camera, dude, you look like you're shining you're like the human version of Aslan. It's this radiant beast with hair and a beard. He's like, I love everyone.
And then I'm fabulous for my 10 seconds of fame, right?
Well, you're on there. If you need a compliment, I forgot everybody has bad self-esteem. So if you need a compliment, honey, you're terrible.
No, I don't need your compliments.
Yeah, but I really should have told you that you had a booger in your scene, and
hey,
when Hack was in my face of the camera while I was singing is like right there.
I did that. You that scene comes off real well, and I actually need a third person really to do a song, but we'll talk about that in a second when we talk about that off air. If you know of anybody, Amber, that you could shoot. If we had like a Southern gospel chick that could do a public domain song like you did, that would be awesome if we could do that again. But anyway, because I've got Jesse Lunsford from Martin Short and Steve Martin's Jive on the second day. You're the first day. It'd be nice to have one on the third day.
Well, you got that Brittany chick that used to talk to us.
I don't know if she's a religious person. I don't know if she knows. I don't think she's a believer. I don't know if she knows.
She is. She used to do gospel or at least contemporary music.
Okay, well maybe we can. Well, she's in the movie though. She's pretty recognizable though, as the. She's like a. Yeah, we couldn't use her. We need somebody that's not in the movie. But, anyway. But Amber, you do a good job, and you sound great on that part of the movie that you sing in. But I was going to say something else. I think
is it about the booger? Is it about the booger?
Yes, it was actually. Okay, so
the most important thing is though, did I make you look good with your face and your makeup and your hair
when I got angry at you and I told you guys you need to be my work wife and make sure my eyebrows aren't poking out. At this age, I swear to God, I don't know if this happens to Luke. I'll wake up a day and look in the mirror and I'll have a 4 foot long hair coming out of my nose, and I'm like, Where the fuck did that come from?
Now, how did that grow? How did that grow overnight? I would have noticed a 2 foot long hair in my ear, before today.
It's like I just imagine me sleeping. There'd be this PBS time lapse thing, like a nature show, where my hair goes, and the sun is kind of like moving through the window and stuff. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So anyway, that's your job. Make me look pretty, because I need all of it. The older we get. And thankfully, I'm not going to be a lead anymore in any of our other movies, so I don't need to be the romantic lead. God almighty, that's going to be great never to do that again. So I can just be an asshole the rest of the time. So I don't have to be cuddling with a girl half my age, which is just cringy to me. But anyway, I do look really young. Like I look, even though we just shot that 4 or 5 months ago, I do look like I'm in my early 30s. So you guys did do a good job. I'm sitting there looking at myself going, God, I'm cute. And I'm just like,
I work magic, Vinny.
He worked your ass off to do that. So anyway, the booger thing. Now in this movie, we got a girl named Katie Gannon, who Luke and I did for one night only. We were experimenting with the idea of doing commentary where we're just assholes, which I wasn't.
At a wrestling show.
Show. Sorry. Thank you for that, because I left that out. So anyway, we were going to get and just kind of rip people apart. And it was fun for the night, but I didn't want to do that. And I kind of think it goes against wrestling and stuff. So, but we met Matt Raby's valet, Katie Gannon, that night. And Katie was blonde and in good shape and had huge boobs. And so she came out wearing this whatever she was wearing, it was falling apart all over her. So she's in front of children and her boobs are just falling out. And so she had to get a sign from the audience. You know how they hold poster boards up? And she basically held a poster board over her boobs as a rah-rah sign for the rest of the time. And me and Luke were dying laughing because
she walked out from behind the curtain, put her hands up in the air, and bloop.
It was over. It was over. She never. So this woman plays a lady named Sister Stacks in a movie, and goes without saying, she's a beautiful human being. She's a beautiful woman. She's everybody. If you're on her social media, there's so many thirsty dudes, mine and Luke's age. They're just like glorious.
Yeah, guys. What's even weird is like guys we know.
Yeah, it's like,
they're like,
does your wife see this? You want me to send this to your wife there, buddy? So anyway, they're just all over her. And for some reason, and I don't know if we can say this or if this is cancel culture stuff, but I think her boobs are getting bigger. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if she's eating the right foods, if she went to Argentina. So
well, no, what she does is this is a great illusion that she does. Instead of wearing like let's say a bathing suit top, instead of wearing it like over where it should fit, she gets one that's loose and lowers it and wears it like 3 inches lower than her boobs, and her boobs stand up on their own. So there's like a bunch of dead air in between in the cups.
Now, is that what you suppose, or have you talked to her about that?
No, look at the pictures. It's obvious.
It's not obvious. I'm not. When I look at a woman's body, I'm not sitting there going, how's she fooling me? I'm just going, holy crap, that's amazing. So,
dude, we're all fooling each other. That's how it is.
I know.
Why do you think I got this glorious beard and long hair?
I saw your cop picture for years ago. You do need to cover
fat baby. Yeah, I was a fat baby.
You look cute in that picture though. But I don't think I'd be a friend of that guy at all though. It looked like Mikey. It was really weird, man. So anyway, so Katie's putting a lot of money in all this stuff, and her. I'm not saying she's getting a boob job. I'm saying she's putting a lot of effort into. I don't know what she wants to do. She's a pharmacist now.
Well, I will say, you guys say this too. Is she money is one thing, but that girl's in the gym 3 hours a day.
Right. She looks, anybody who's going gaga for her, she deserves that. She's trying to use that to parlay into either a wrestling career or she's a bodybuilder. She's wonderful, but she had a really good photo shoot, which was her best photo shoot. This is about a month ago. And her fourth picture in the photo shoot, she's sitting there and she's like exuding I guess she's kind of experimenting with wrestling personality. So she's kind of doing crazy and yelling. But there's one where her boobs are out, of course, and she's blonde and she's beautiful, and she's sitting there and she's doing something weird with her face. You can see right up her nose. There's about 19 boogers in her nostrils, man. I send her a message. I'm like, dude, because for the sole purpose, I care. I don't take that down. She's like, I don't know how to take them down. And I'm like, how old are you? You my age? You got to figure that out. You don't want people.
And you're the only guy that looked at that picture and looked up her nose.
And I think that's what she thought. Because if you go to Instagram, King Katie Gannon, it's still that nobody has ever commented, honey, you need to blow your nose. Check yourself. Birds in the cage. Birds in the nest. Nobody said anything like that. Everybody's just staring at her going, oh my God, she's beautiful. So anyway, she's in the movie and she did great. She's a character, man. She was funny too. How she pulled that off was good. She's a dork. That's the funny thing is when you see a woman like that and you're like, you're a dork. You're not even, this vapid creature. She's an interesting person because she is like a
disclaimer, dork is a positive thing in our universe.
Well, I think most people know that. I mean, the only people left that are happy are the dorks. Everybody else is miserable as hell. I would guess. So if you're just tuning in, the 29th of December, WJHC AM will premiere unless I have a stroke or get hit by a bus. And dude, I'm getting original music sent to us. I always feel blessed. It's all these people. I know there's always an ulterior motive. People are like, I want my song in a movie, but it is neat to get, because we don't have the money to pay people for a lot of stuff. And we're getting a lot of volunteer people to act and help us. But the songs are coming in and they're 90s tunes. And there's stuff that they're people our age who had a band in the 90s and they're sending us old stuff. And
what's great about what's great about this? Notice this growing up. Like, remember in the 80s, they would like take unknown rock bands and take like the best song off of their unreleased album and then put the name of the movie in it. So it'd be like, I love you, you're the best, I love you, baby, summer school. And then, they would just put the name of the song. In the 90s, it was like they went to a hospital and picked the name of a machine or something and was like, and I got feelings deep down, catheter, It was the 90s. They just like took just medical word. Yeah.
I kind of know what you're trying to say there. I think I do. It's like, did they just name that because there was no song ever named that before and they're hoping a movie about a catheter comes out? So I understand where you're going through with that. This is cool though. Making a movie is so much fun. I know you're doing the music thing right now and you're enjoying that, but God, I mean, just I got good news today too. By the way, I got more good news, but so I reached out to this distributing company that does B-movie DVDs, and I kind of felt like the guy was going to be like, your movie doesn't fit. Well, he's like, your movie's not conventional enough to do DVDs, but he goes, I want to put this on every video on demand service I can. Everybody at the company likes this movie. We enjoyed it thoroughly. Talking about the hike. And he goes, and he offered me the exact same deal and the exact same thing Chip is already doing for us. And I said, we already got that. And then he was like, oh, well, okay. He goes, well, good luck. He goes, we love your movie and stuff. And I was like, do you want to do the DVD distribution of it? And he was like, well, we're cutting back on that because nobody's buying DVDs anymore. So it's harder to sell DVDs. But it was really cool to hear a guy from the inside being like, we want to shop your movie around and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But it was, if we're going to sell, we live in a day and age where you can't sell shit. It's just like, we're going to sell DVDs to people, and who's really going to buy? Why would I spend
$15 on a DVD when I can go download it with Hindi subtitles?
Yes. Oh yeah. You said this week.
I got on a bunch of the pirate sites, and so I probably got an infected tablet. But I just wanted to see, because for some reason I every once in a while I Google the hike and everything, and then I found one that said the hike hike 2021 in Hindi subtitles, and I was like, we didn't do Hindi subtitles. Then I clicked on it, then I downloaded it, and sure as shit, there's our movie with Hindi subtitles along the bottom. And so I started going around to the different pirate sites and putting, the hike 2021 Hindi. And man, every one we were maxed out on seeders, which means that those are people that are seeders, or people that download the movie and then keep it open so other people can download it. Now, usually you get, most of these torrent places, like they max it out at 1,000 seeders, but most movies, some movies have 2, some have 20. The bigger movies have, they're maxed at 1,000 or 800. We were maxed on 4 different illegal torrent sites.
I know that's it. We're being raped over we should have. I know for a fact if everybody gave us $1 that watched this movie, we would be doing this podcast from a yacht somewhere. This is we're getting butt raped, and that's what I'm saying. You can't really sell DVDs. It's hard to, it's me, but it goes back to the thing. Are me and you hurting for money? No, we're not. It would be nice. I think the goal is after the 3rd or the 4th movie, if we're not making money back right away, we probably need to reevaluate things. But this is a work in progress. And at the end of the day, if we get 3 or 4 movies deep into this thing and it's not getting traction where we're getting a lot of money coming in, we've made 3 or 4 movies with our friends and had a blast doing it. I know the 4th movie is going to be fun. The 3rd movie is going to be so different. It's going to be a challenge.
I've come up with some shit, man. Oh, this is why it's better that we waited until that we're going to wait until March to start filming this, because I've come up with some shit.
I'm glad too, man. I think how can I put this? I just felt like we were rushing to rush. Like we put this weird time limit. Like we need to do this fast, and each movie needs to be treated. We need to make each movie the best movie we ever made. Like WJHC, I need to make this the best movie that we'll ever make. And then the challenge for the next one is to make Camp Smoky better than the best movie we will ever make. Well, and then the next one that'll be the best movie we will ever make. And just try to do that.
Stylistically with Camp Smoky, I don't want to use any moving camera. I want it to all be stable shot. We might do some trucking, we might do some panning and stuff, but I don't want anything off of a tripod for the whole movie.
Well, and that's good. There's a lot of stuff we did in WJHC where somebody's acting their ass off and somebody bumps the camera, or somebody makes a weird noise with the camera tripod as they're trying to move it around, and it ruins the take. You can't. It's ruined. So, and the way that we like getting stuff is like, was that pretty good? Yeah. All right, we're done.
Well, I kind of
like.
I kind of want this movie to have a mix between like a M. Night, M. Night Shyamalan did that a lot, where it was all stable cameras with slow movement to them. It was zooming in, panning, trucking, and I want to do a lot of that. Even though I want this to have that 80s definite 80s slasher movie feel, but I want it also to be a little more kind of artsy a little bit, because I want I want it to be a little slower, because I want some of the kills and things to be disturbing. Like I was talking to somebody about this movie, and I was like, no, there's like, oh, I can't watch that. I don't do blood and gore. I was like, I don't want to do the kills bloody and gory and all that. I want to do them psychologically. I want things to, I want you to not go, ew. I want you to go, oh, that's fucked up. That's what I'm going for with it. That whole movie is the reaction I want from that movie is that's fucked up.
I swear to you, the thing I'm so scared about, especially with my input in it, is I'm afraid it's going to be funny. And that's the thing that's going to be fun for me, is to make a movie that is not funny. Because, for example, the only person that's watched the end of this movie is Julie. And during the serious parts where people are fighting and stuff, she's laughing her ass off. I'm like, I can't even do a fight scene that's not funny.
Yeah.
And so, and that's not bad. This is supposed to be a comedy, so it's good that she enjoyed it and she loved it and all that stuff. But it's like, man, and I'm sitting there thinking, can I help make Camp Smoky not funny? I think there's some comedic elements, which I think every movie needs some sort of comedy. I want to
play more for like a lovable endearment kind of thing. Not really so much that's funny, but kind of
you have a Castaway element that I think is humorous because it was funny in Castaway, and I don't know how we're going to get away from that. I think you got to embrace some of that, but again, we'll talk about that after we're done with this.
Well, but what I want to do is exactly what Tom Hanks did with that. Is he didn't see in his acting style, he didn't see Wilson as a volleyball when he was acting. He acted like it was, the whole his whole trope of acting it was acting that was a human being,
right?
So it's not.
Boy, that was a great movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wish the ending would have went a couple minutes longer. Like I wish you wouldn't have drove. I wish you'd have met the chick with the. I wish we'd have seen the chick with the angel wings.
Well, they had to hit it off, right? I mean,
I don't know. It'd have been hilarious if she'd have walked out and had like no teeth and shit. Like, how you doing, you?
That's how we would have made the movie, and people would have hated it. They would have been like, "It's going to be suicidal. He should have drove to Canada instead of San Antonio or wherever it was."
I mean, you see that you do see that. I guess she's the chick that drives past him.
She's hot, but she's married, right? We know what life is. He's in his mid-30s.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it should. We're making a Christian movie. If people watch this, they're going to think this is a Christian broadcast. It's got the cross there on our screen. This is people are going to be like, oh, they're religious people.
You're worried about that now after we did 3 years of a podcast called God Makes Beautiful Things?
I know it hurt that people didn't watch it because they thought we were religious, and it was so. So people aren't that sharp, right? And again, people
not anybody listening to this. You guys are brilliant.
Yeah. So the other day I posted this picture. I take somebody to the hospital and I go around UT and there's like these two horrible planters with these overrun plants. They're dead. There's like boll weevils and roaches crawling around and cigarette butts. And I just take a picture and I go, my adventures take me to some of the most beautiful places. And I almost put God Makes Beautiful Things.
All right.
Taking that picture because nothing in that scene, everything was concrete and dead shit, and I just didn't want a bunch of people going amen or hallelujah or whatever and being serious because that's what people do. That's where we got the name of the podcast, God Makes Beautiful Things. A guy takes a picture of the fucking old mill water wheel and man-made waterfall from Pigeon Forge, the old mill restaurant, and the building. In the background there are a couple trees and the water is God's, but everything else, the man-made waterfall, the bridge, the water wheel, and he puts on the goddamn meme, God Makes Beautiful Things, and Luke and I just die. We're like, what an idiot. And we were dead, and I that's why we made the podcast show that. And then everybody thought it was a religious show, and they heard and they listened, and we were talking about bestiality and cussing and boobs and all that stuff. So Brandon's in here, and Brandon's going to do the title sequence. Well, he's going to help with some title. Brandon's always on my ass about fonts. So it's a community thing when we do this stuff with Big and Funky Productions. We're going to make a movie with him called Evil Tacos around the time we do Camp Smoky.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I think people, I don't want to, that is exactly what people want to see. When me and Luke, we try to add so much, like it's horror comedy, but we add like intellectual elements to it. This is just going to be pure fun. And I think we lose people along the way, me and Luke do. And that's fine because I want to do stuff that me and Luke wants to do and everybody else on our team. Yeah. But Evil Tacos is meta. Everybody, I've talked to people about helping out with acting bits, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this movie, right? And I'm like, why? And they're like, because Evil Tacos. Evil Taco. That's why I'm doing this movie. It's going to be a fantastic, and Brandon's great at what he does. I don't know how
Brandon did like a short film about like a grape that fell out of his refrigerator. That was awesome.
I never saw that.
Yeah, you should share that. That thing was like a 3-minute film that I'm sitting there watching like this about a grape that falls out of the refrigerator.
And Brandon works Brandon does more than me and Luke and everybody on our team put together by himself. He doesn't really have any help except the people that are his stars on his shows that he creates. And he's the guy that runs SI TV, and he makes 90-something% of those shows. He edits it. He edits them, produces them, shoots them, drives all over the country. That's his main job, and he's an amazing person. But he's got some good ideas. The video of the show "Go There, Eat That" that has me and Luke in it when he comes to Pigeon Forge has like 100,000 views on YouTube now. It's insane. I mean, it's and everybody's like, why don't you have more followers? Why don't you have more? This is pro looking, and it's eventually it'll happen. He may be 92 years old, but it'll happen. But I'm excited. So the 29th, Amber, you excited?
I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, you helped us with video. You helped us with makeup. You were the soul of the movie behind the camera. You've got a couple of parts in the movie. There were a couple parts that were kind of, it's weird. It's got boobs, it's got blood, it's got bad jokes. There's bestiality in this movie as well. There's all sorts of gross stuff. What people see Travis do, but then again, there's this spiritual element, and there's a thing that happened to you spiritually in this movie too that was really like, wow, that's wild, and it's like there's all these layers to this movie, and I don't know if it's going to fall flat. I think it's going to anger people. I think people are going to love it. I think people are going to cry. I think people are going to get mad. I think it's just going to.
I hope people get angry and share it as many times as they can on social media how mad they are and how much they hate the movie.
Well, if people, I'm still getting messages to this day about us being white racist assholes for the hike because we have a bad guy who's a Cherokee Indian. And it's like, this is where and again, if you watch this or whatever, and we live in the Cherokee Mountains, this is a part of our culture too. I mean, the Spearfinger used to jack up white people, and it's a story. It's just a story. I mean, do you want a cannibalistic evil spirit to be a good guy?
Well, and instead, I love that people still go on about, well, you didn't cast a Native American as Candy. Are you making assumptions?
How dare you assume her race? She has more races. She's like Obama. She got more races in her than Obama does, man. Leave her alone.
She's definitely got more Native in her than Elizabeth Warren.
True. She's more black than that white girl that had the fake afro. What was her name? Yeah, we know.
Is Dolezal.
Yeah,
like Amy Dolezal.
Wow. You kept that in your brain at this age. That's impressive. All right. Well, hey, WJHC 29th, the premiere, midnight,
so
the
exciting.
Forge. It's going to be awesome. I think me and Luke will probably talk, have a couple of words to say to the people. We are always appreciative of everybody who's volunteered their time. And this machine moves on. I think, we had The Hike do well. It was on Amazon. It's being translated to Hindu. And that's one thing, and that's awesome. But to come out with movie number two, and somebody's stomach just growled or farted or something.
That was her.
Thanks. Thank you. So anyway, to come out, I think that solidifies the fact that we're gonna keep making shit to piss people off and confuse people.
Yeah, now it's just fun to aggravate them.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good, and I just can't wait.
We got that review on Amazon. There's a guy's like, you need to go to basic film school and put money. I was like, no, we don't. Because did you go? I was like, did you go to film school?
Are you mad that you wasted your $45,000? Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see let's watch your movie, bud. If you're gonna criticize what we do, if you're gonna criticize it from a place of, I just didn't like it, fine.
Yes.
If you're gonna criticize it too, it didn't look, the look of it and the sound was bad. Okay. If you're going to be like film school, Parker, go show me what you've done.
That's the thing, is like, I understand and always need to strive to improve. But The Hike is awesome, dude. I don't care who you are. For what it is, who can make a movie if we take the camera and the lights and the computer we bought and reduce that? Who can make a movie like that for $7,000 or $6,000? I mean, you make a movie for $6,000 and present it as a feature film with all your friends and no fucking prick that you have to hire and some college, and do good.
No money market that you got to pay back.
That's right. That was all out of pocket love, and I'm super proud of that. And
what I really want to hear, and I really want to hear your script. I want to hear your dialogue that you wrote in your script. I want to hear your storyline. I want to hear your layers. I want to see all of it. I want to see what you do that's better than what I do.
Well,
please. And if it's better, I'll be and if it's better, I'll say, hey, it's better.
Oh, the hike is freaking awesome, man. And and Jill said, thank you for saying that. The hike, I love the movie. I still, to this day, the last 15 minutes of that movie, I'm sitting there like, whoo, I'm just like, I'm and the turn at the end is sexy and crazy and all that stuff. It's just a good movie. There are things we can do technically better, but who gives a fuck? We'll get better as time goes on. It's a low budget fucking movie, and it was supposed to look that way. So, but here's the thing: how many times, Luke, have you gone on somebody's independent movie and wrote a giant 4-paragraph review? None. Is it because you're busy doing your shit? And that's what I see, is because it's like the people that sit there and they have to write a fucking terrible review. It's just because you're angry because you don't have friends. You don't have people that you can make movies with. You don't have colleagues. I mean, hell, and in this day and age, let me tell you something. Everybody hates everything. I think the only thing I've seen that's universally beloved is this new Ghostbusters movie. Yeah. But
I'll tell you,
cranky.
I started watching The Other Hike on Amazon, and it's a good-looking movie. It sucks. The dialogue's awful. It's like the actors suck. The dialogue sucks, but it looks fantastic. So we're just the flip side of that.
That's a Lionsgate movie.
Yep.
And if you go to Amazon right now and type The Hike, ours is ranked higher than it. There's more people watching our movie than a Lionsgate movie with the same name, and you got to be proud of that. Those are small victories, and Jesus Christ, we made that thing for a song, and we didn't even know what we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing, but technically WJHC is much superior. And Camp Smoky will be superior to this, and then computer-generated movie will be better than that.
About one, I try to once a week go into where the hike is on Amazon, and if I don't watch it or I do, but I still there's people who watch this also watched movies, and I try to watch one of those a week, and some of them low budget shit, and it's awesome. And one of the movies that people watch with ours is Lake Placid. That movie, I love that fucking movie. That movie's so stupid. I love it. And it said that's our movie is every bit as quality as that one. They just had they had a $12 million budget and an entire cast and crew.
That's the thing. We did the hike with 4 people in a plant. And a left sneaker helped. It was like there was a skeleton crew, boy. It wasn't even a full skeleton. It was the humerus and one of the ribs. And there was a
phalange involved. There was definitely a phalange involved.
There was a weenus. The weenus had to go to HR several times because people were confused over what his name was.
Yeah, people just need to grow up with the weenus thing.
The weenus can't help what his name was.
No,
he was popping around on the set with just completely naked because he's a weenus. But anyway, I will never. I don't feel like we ever have to defend the hike. Because I've seen movies that were made for $90 million. This is the thing.
The Eternals.
Yeah. So how about this? Ed Norton was a huge guy in Hollywood, and he was, American History X, and you just go down all the stuff Ed Norton did. The Incredible Hulk movie and all the stuff that he did.
Fight Club
Fight Club. He's great. He spent all his money, or a lot of his money, and about 7 or 9 years of his life making Motherless Brooklyn, which is about a guy with Tourette's, and it was just one of those crime movies, and it was his passion project. This guy spent 6, 7, 5, 9, something like that years of his life focused on this one movie. It came out, and he's got Tourette's in the movie. And Bruce Willis is in it. I got to tell you, it is not awful. It's not good. It falls in that terrible category of I didn't even finish it. It was just so I had no feeling for it. This guy's passion project, and he's talented, and he's had all this money. So it's like I'd rather be hated, reviled, or beloved, which is what happens. You look at the reviews, 5-star reviews, 1-star reviews. That's it. And I love it.
And it's 50-50.
It's 50.
Well, I've always said with in relationships and how you feel about people, love, hate is great. Indifference is the worst.
Yeah. And so
it's when somebody's indifferent to you or you're indifferent to them, that means they just don't exist, man.
And so WJHC will be beloved or will be reviled, and we'll march
I can't
on.
wait.
And hopefully on our third movie, we'll make a movie that everybody universally loves. But I know it's not going to happen with this guy. But I'm proud of it. With
Camp Smoky, I have a feeling that if you like horror movies, it's going to be your movie. You're gonna love this.
And our fourth movie is just going to be a big and funky sketch for an hour and a half. So we need Camp Smoky to kind of probably bring in some people to needs to be the normal movie, because people aren't going to like the computer generated movie.
No, we're making that for us.
Yeah, that is our movie. All right, so and then Evil Tacos, which we're going to be in a partnership with Brandon. That's going to be another one too. That's going to be a lot of fun and silly as hell. So the 29th, guys. 29th, Pigeon Forge, the Forge Cinema, midnight. It's at least $10 if you're not one of the family. If you are, I want to put this out. I need to tell this to everybody too. If you're part of the production, if you could throw $5 in for everybody in your party, that would be awesome. You don't have to do it. It is expensive to get the room, because what's happened is there's a lot of movies being released around Christmas time. And so they were like, this is not a good time for this. And I was like, well, let's do it anyway. So if you could throw $5, if you drive from out of town, if you're, we have people from Arkansas, North Carolina, Nashville. If you drive in, you don't have to pay anything. If you're having a hard time, it's Christmas time, don't pay nothing. If you can throw some money into the pot, that would be helpful. And if we get this thing where people know, and we get 100 or so people paying the $10 to watch a locally made movie, that'll cover the cost. And anything that we make over, it's not going into my pocket so I can buy myself a brand new PlayStation or anything. It's, I gotta spend $100 to finish mixing a song that Candy's doing for the movie. So Candy's excited about the project again. I can't wait for that. I got a couple of effects. I'm paying some guys from some Hindu guys, I guess. Maybe they can. Maybe they're the guys that did the translation
subtitles. Yeah,
subtitles on the hike. But stuff like that. So it's just going back. And then of course we pay $25 a month for StreamYard, and the website's $20 a month. And so it'll all go back into basically pissing into a giant river-sized hole. But I could get a red carpet. I may get a red rug. Somebody wants a red carpet. I may see if I can find a red rug. I'll go to Goodwill this week and try to find something red. Maybe a tapestry. One of my old wrestling robes I'll cut up and elongate. Hey, Billy's here. Everybody's coming on too late, but anyway, Billy.
A red carpet premiere thing would be hilarious if we all dressed, but we all had to dress opposite sex. Like we all had, what are you wearing? And I'm like, well, this is designer.
Sam would wear a dress, 100%.
I'll wear. Oh shit! You don't think I won't wear a dress?
That would be so funny. And what are you wearing tonight? Well, it's a Shantae Renew. It's a 2021. What do you think?
Demetria wears a tux.
Yeah.
That's the cross-dressing.
Hey, Billy, I don't know what our premiere is going to be. I know I just said it's a bunch, but 29th, and I'll try to message you in midnight, December 29th, the Forge Cinemas, Pigeon Forge, we're having our premiere. Billy is in the movie. Billy could not play the minister I wanted him to, but he played Claude, which is another flashback.
Dude, all the ministers kicked ass. All of them did.
Okay, they did, and Lance and Danny and all the ministers and Perfect Pat. Herb Himes, though, last night hit me in the craw. He did as good as Tracy did with Nancy, and it perfect. She did perfect, and Mike did with Mike Fable. The fucking Herb Himes was exactly how I ministered.
I know. I hated that we had to do like 4 takes with him but it's different camera angles and stuff. But you believed he was preaching to you. It wasn't like, hey, good acting. It was like he was literally throwing it down. Like he lived this story.
And the cool thing, what I enjoy about me, I'm just going to be real weird. What I like about me is I have a life where we take this guy. And if nobody knows, Herb Himes is a guitar player for they're not satanic because they think Satan is a jobber. I think they worship Leviathan or something in the band or some other demon. He's in one of those bands. It's a gothic. They dress up and they pretend. And he was the guy.
They do the death metal song in the hike.
They do, and he's one of the guys that's sacrificing the virgin in the woods with Spearfinger dancing around because we're racist. And so this guy wanted him to be a minister, and to see him get up there and do this completely just glib take on a guy who's having a mental breakdown. And it's a combination of Eddie Murphy's Bowfinger character where he's going, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. And just a guy that I saw in real life who was having a terrible day ministering at the radio station, and he just couldn't let something go. And he was trying to wrap God around it. We have all the people there. Hallelujah, bless him, Father. And he's just like, I can't handle life. I have to break down in front of the mic.
Me and Vinny have this weird thing where there's some movies that he loves that I hate, some movies that I hate that I love that he hates, and we rarely agree on movies. Some of the classics, Clerks and Evil Dead 2 and things like that, Fight Club and all that we agree on, but a lot of movies we don't. But we will both tell you that Bowfinger is probably one of the best movies ever.
Amen.
I love Bowfinger.
Bowfinger should be required viewing for American youth. It's hilarious, and it's a lot like what we do, man. I mean, we are guerrilla to the max. I mean, it's not maybe that crazy, but chubby rain, baby.
Chubby rain.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to probably eat something that's stale and has roaches crawling all over it, and then from the kitchen.
Don't talk about Julie like that. That's just wrong.
And I'm talking about Irie, and then get to finish in day 3 of this wonderful movie. It was good to talk to you guys tonight.
Yeah, it sure was. What's your favorite drink?
Dr. Pepper.
Bitch.